Welcome to the channel, Hayward here. Choosing the right type of gear for your shooting style can be a little daunting, especially if you're getting started, and sometimes you just don't think of everything. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a high-level set of requirements for different types of photography, comparing portraits to landscapes and the different gear choices you would have to make with those two styles of photography. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning with the camera. Now, I'm not going to recommend a brand of camera. I'm a Canon shooter, so my recommendations will be in the Canon line. But there are absolutely no reasons that you have to choose one brand of camera over another. It's just my preference. It's where I started. All the major camera manufacturers are high quality today. Having said that, oddly enough, for both landscape and portrait, a full-frame sensor is fairly desirable for different reasons. In landscape photography, it's because you've got a lot of pixels and you've got a lot of real estate because you're going to need a lot of detail from landscapes. For portraits, it's because you're going to want bokeh, however you say it, tomato, is that soft creamy background, and a full frame sensor will help you get there easier than a crop sensor. You can do it with a crop sensor. At the end of the day, get the best camera body you can afford. On my website, Camera Cafe, I've got a couple of gear recommendations that you can check out. I recommend the Canon R6 Mark II or the Canon R8, depending on your budget. They're two different budget price points. I'll put links to those in the comments, or you can go to that website and check it out. Okay, well, that was a pretty simple set of requirements, right? So cameras today can do a whole lot, right? They have a lot of features. They have a lot of functions. If you're well versed in those features and functions, you've already made your choice, right? This is a video to get you started. And honestly, the full frame part of the camera, to me, is the most important criteria for one of these two styles of photography. All the other features, any of the cameras you're looking at today will have them. Okay, so you can't talk about any part of photography or any style of photography without talking about lighting. That's another thing where landscape and portraits are going to have a lot different requirements. And then from there, you're going to see equipment changes happen because of those differences. In landscape photography, you've got to learn to see the light that you find and know how to use it. You can't put a softbox over a mountainside, right? So you have to understand lighting theoretically and practically to a high degree so you can make creative decisions when you're doing your landscape photography. With portraits, you might get perfect lighting in a location, but you're probably going to sacrifice the right background, the right time of day, something. You're going to sacrifice something for just a perfect lighting on a person's face. With portrait photography, you're going to have to, in my opinion, learn lighting additively, whether you're going to add a constant light or a flash or modifiers or something. You're going to have to be much better versed in adding lighting to create the look you want. Okay, now we come down to the meat of it. Lenses. And if you follow the channel for any length of time, you know I'm a firm believer in investing your largest expenditures in lenses. It pays the biggest dividends, you can see the most effect in your images, and they last the longest. Camera bodies obviously are important, but camera bodies are designed to age out these days. They're computers, and they have a shelf life, right? Because of software, because of technology, all of that. Lenses are still physics and optics. So getting a lens that can give you a beautiful look is a big investment, but usually a good investment if you're going to continue with photography. Now, with landscape and portraits, that's where we diverge quite a bit with lenses. There are no hard and fast rules. There's a lot of close-up landscape photography and there's a lot of wide-angle portrait photography. right? In general, everything I'm saying is in general. In general, portraits are closer with a person, so you want a longer lens. And my favorite lens for portraits, one of my favorites, is the Canon 100 millimeter lens. This is the EF one. The RF one is even better. What you're going to get with that is you're going to get a nice wide f-stop of 2.8. Some people like to go wider than that and go down into f2 or 1 point something. That's where you're going to spend the money, right? The wider the f-stop, the more expensive the lens, the softer the background, the higher quality the image. With lenses, money equals quality. It just does. And there's really no arguing with that. Having said that, how good are you? How good is your photography? How serious are you about it? How much money are you going to invest in a lens? Only you can answer that. Okay, now on the landscape front, in general, again, it's wider. You're looking to take in more of the landscape. So this is another great Canon lens. This is a zoom lens. This is a 17 to 40. 17 millimeter on a full frame is very wide. Okay, so there's a big discussion about wide angle to be had with landscape regarding distortion. Beyond the scope of this video, but in general, you're looking at wider lenses to catch wider panoramas in your landscape. So the divergence between lenses for landscape and portrait, that's pretty obvious. Those are two very different kinds of lenses. If you're trying to do both, you're going to have a zoom, something like a 24 to 105 or something like that. Those are good lenses. It can work, right? All lenses that cover that big of a range are a bit of a compromise. It's not as good as this 100. How good is your photography to see the difference? You have to think about things like that. Okay, one more essential piece of gear you have to consider is supporting your camera, meaning a tripod, monopod, something like that. For landscape photography, to me, this is a big deal because sometimes exposures are slow. And depending on your light, like some people shoot at night. Well, you're going to need to put your camera on a tripod if you're shooting at night, right? So landscape almost always is going to have the camera supported on a tripod. And because it's landscape, unless you're out hiking, you can make it pretty sturdy. It depends on where you're going to do your photography. If you're up hiking in the mountains, yeah, you're probably going to want a pretty light tripod. If you are up hiking in the mountains to do landscape photography, there's going to be wind, and a light tripod doesn't deal well with wind. Large discussion, but again, your mileage may vary. You have to look at that. For portraits, boy, there's a wide gulf of photographers with holding the camera. Some photographers cannot conceive of putting a portrait camera on sticks. They got a handhold. They're doing all kinds of poses when they're doing the photography. And it's funny, but you know, it's about style. It's about comfort. And if you're using a fast enough shutter speed, who cares, right? If you can frame it up and get the shot. There are some sessions where I handhold the camera, especially what comes to mind is high school seniors. For families or stuff like that, I'll put it on a tripod. Again, your mileage may vary, but consider weight and stability if you're choosing that. I have a recommendation on the Camera Cafe website. Again, I'll put it in the comments to this video as well for the tripod that I use. Okay, some odds and ends. Let's talk about landscape. Well, landscape, you're going out into nature. You've got to carry your camera and all your accessories. So backpacks and ways to carry things are very important. That is going to be totally what works for you. I've done some videos on camera bags, but that's for me. And that's for the kind of photography I do. You have to ask yourself what you're going to be carrying, how far you're going to be carrying it, and then look at bags appropriately. So for portrait photography, I know some things you're going to need. I strongly recommend a light meter for portrait photographers. I've done a lot of videos on this. These are the kind of things that kind of add up, right? But when you say you're going to do portrait photography, unless you're just absolutely waiting for the sun to be perfect, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to add some light. You're going to have to do something. For me, this has been a very wide-ranging video covering quite a lot of topics. It's the kind of video I've kind of resisted doing since I started the channel. But the reason I'm doing it now is because we have the Camera Cafe to have discussions on. Everything that I've talked about in this video really demands discussion because everybody's so different when you start talking about the kind of gear that you could or should or would want for these different kinds of photography. I encourage you to hit the comments for questions, but more so, check out the Camera Cafe and let's get the conversation going between you guys, not just me, about the topics I've brought up here. As always, I appreciate you liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Until the next video, cheers.